He didn't shout. He didn't slam his hands on the table. He did something worse. He pulled out his phone. Right in the middle of Judge Judy's courtroom, dialed 911, and said the words no one in that room had ever heard directed at a judge before. I'm being held against my will by Judge Judy. 30 seconds later, every person in that courtroom realized they just watched him light his own life on fire. But before that, he walked in like he'd never been told no in his life. The double doors creaked open and the governor's son strolled in like he was late to a press conference. Not a civil hearing. Navy suit a little too sharp for a weekday, tie loose like he was above tightening it. He tugged off his sunglasses even though they'd never had a job under fluorescent lights. The cameras caught the move like it was rehearsed. He didn't wait for the bailiff to motion. He cut straight to the defendant's table and sat without being told. Someone in the audience whispered, "That's him. Ethan Cole, governor's kid." Judge Judy didn't react. She'd been doing this long enough to recognize a certain type within 3 seconds. The ones whose last names walked into rooms before they did at the plaintiff's table. A man in a faded transit polo stood quietly. His hair was more gray than black. His hands were thick, calloused. The kind of hands that turned steering wheels for thousands of miles. Case of Ramirez versus Cole, the clerk called out. "Parties, please stand." The bus driver stood instantly. The governor's son didn't. The bailiff took one measured step forward. "Sir, stand," he said. Ethan rolled his eyes like he'd been asked to take out the trash. "Relax," he muttered. But he got up, slowly. "State your name for the record," Judge Judy said. He flashed a practiced little half-smile. "Ethan Cole," he said. "Communications director at Cole for tomorrow." "My father is—" "I didn't ask who your father is," Judy cut in, eyes sharp. "I asked who you are. Sit." The audience hummed, enjoying that more than they should. The bus driver swallowed, glancing between the judge and the defendant. "Your name," Judy said. A shade gentler. "Luis Ramirez, Your Honor," he said. "City bus operator, Route 14. Mr. Ramirez is suing Mr. Cole for damages," the judge said, glancing at her file. "Repair costs, lost wages, and emotional distress after an incident at a bus stop that escalated beyond anything it should have. Mr. Cole has countersued for defamation, claiming Mr. Ramirez's complaint slandered a public figure." Judy looked back up. "We're going to talk about what happened, and we're going to talk about what didn't." Ethan let out a small laugh. "Can we also talk about how much taxpayer time you're wasting on a scratch bus fender?" he said. She tilted her head. "We'll see if that's all this is." Her pen tapped the file once, a rhythm she used when deciding how much rope to let someone hand themselves. "Mr. Ramirez," she said. "You start. Tell me what happened that afternoon." He gripped the edge of his table. His knuckles went white. "It was 3 weeks ago," he said. "Afternoon route. Downtown stop by the Capitol. We're at capacity. I pull up, open the doors. He nodded toward Ethan, tries to get on through the exit door. "I was in a hurry," Ethan cut in. "Your system is a joke. 3 buses behind schedule, and I'm the rude one." "You'll have your turn," Judy said without looking at him. "Keep talking, Mr. Ramirez." "I told him, sir, you have to enter from the front," Luis went on. He rolled his eyes, said something like, "Do you know how many votes my father brought for your contract?" A few people in the audience scoffed. "I told him the bus was full," Luis said. He pushed past anyway. I stepped in front of him. My hand went up, not touching, just blocking. He shoved my shoulder. I stumbled back, hit the fare box. Passengers gasped. "And the bus?" Judy asked out. His jaw tightened. He kicked the side panel as he stepped back off, Luis said. Hard, the fiberglass cracked. I heard it. Everyone heard it. "The crack cost the city 3 days," he added. "Bus out of service. Routes disrupted. I got pulled off schedule for investigation." Judy turned to Ethan. "Your version?" she asked. He shrugged, posture loose, performative. "It's not that deep," he said. "I was trying to get to a committee hearing." His bus pulled up, finally, after 20 minutes. He sees me, shuts the doors in my face. "Power trip." I tapped the glass, he yelled. I stepped back. My foot might have hit the panel. Those buses are flimsy. And the shove? She asked. I brushed him, Ethan said. He overreacted. Probably wanted to make an example of the governor's son. It's trendy right now to hate. U.S. Lise flinched at the word us, but stayed quiet. Judge Judy leaned forward just an inch. Whether people hate you isn't my department, she said. What is my department is what comes next when someone in your position forgets that the rules on the street apply to them. 2. Her gaze slid to the slim envelope the clerk had just placed on her bench, because, she added, tapping it. This case stopped being about a cracked panel the moment you picked up a phone 3 days later and dialed 911. Do you remember that call, Mr. Cole? For the first time, the practiced smirk on his face twitched. If I were sitting in that courtroom next to you right now, the judge said, eyes locked on him, would I be remembering it the same way you do? Or the way the dispatcher wrote it down? You can think about that while we open the file. The envelope on Judge Judy's bench looked ordinary. It wasn't. It had the city's familiar blue seal in the corner, and beneath it, a shorter stamp in red, 911. Call transcripts requested. She slid a finger under the flap. Paper rasped against paper. Ethan shifted in his chair. Asterisk. I called 911 because he stabbed a finger in Luce's direction, was harassing me after the incident. He filed some big dramatic complaint. Activists started emailing my office. They put my name on flyers. People were following me to my car. I felt unsafe. The complaint he filed, Judy said, was with his supervisor. Standard procedure? The activists you're referring to? 2 transit union reps and a writer who posted a TikTok of the cracked bus. That's in the file too. A small laugh rippled from the back row. My office was being flooded, Ethan insisted. Threats, names, I wanted a record. That's what 911 is for, is it? She asked quietly. Let's see if the dispatcher agrees. She held up the first page. Call from Ethan Cole, timestamp 9:14 p.m. 3 days after the bus incident, she read. Location, your townhouse. Not the bus stop. Not the depot. Not any place where Mr. Ramirez was present. She looked up, and yet the first words out of your mouth on that recording. She asked. According to this were, I need officers sent here now. A city employee is trying to ruin my life. He shifted. That's not, I don't remember saying, he's dangerous. She continued reading. He knows my route. He knows my father. He could show up anywhere. You people need to deal with him before this gets out of control. Luce's eyes widened. Ma'am, he said, stunned. I work a 4 a.m. shift. I go home. I have dinner with my kids. Then I sleep. I don't even know where he lives. Apparently, Judy said, 911 operators knew that. She read further. Dispatcher, sir, has this man threatened you? He filed something. That's a threat. In my world, that's violence. The audience exhaled in disbelief. You attempted, she said, to frame a workplace grievance as a police matter. You wanted squads to roll because a man used the form his union handed him? How many sirens do you think your discomfort is worth, Mr. Cole? His cheeks colored. I was spiraling, he said. You've never had your email inbox flooded with death wishes. It messes with your head. I just wanted a barrier. You had security detail for exactly that, she snapped. Instead, you reached for the one number on every fridge in the city and treated it like a customer service line. She set the transcript down. That, she said, was the first time. Ethan frowned. First time? She tapped the folder again. I didn't just ask for one call, she said. I asked for all calls from you in the past 12 months. He stiffened, asterisk. There's the neighbor noise complaint you escalated into possible home invasion. Because their party ran past 11 p.m., she said. The barista you called in as behaving erratically because he asked you to wait your turn. The campus security guard you told dispatch was threatening because he wouldn't hold the gate open. She flipped through the pages. Each one a mirror he didn't want to look into. You have a pattern, she said. Every time someone says no to you, you try to turn their no into a siren. That's not caution. That's abuse. He slammed his hand on the table. That's not fair. He shouted. You don't know what it's like to live like I live? Everyone's watching, waiting for you to mess up. The tiniest situation can go viral, and then my father's office is fielding calls from DC because some bus driver decided to narrate his day. Louise flinched. Some bus driver? Enough, Judy said. Her tone wasn't louder. It was heavier. Some bus driver moves thousands of people a week without calling. 911 to clean up his feelings. The gallery hummed in agreement. It must be nice, Ethan spat. To live without cameras in your face? Must be nice, Lee said quietly. To have cameras and still think nobody sees you. Ethan's head snapped toward him. Anger flashing ... asterisk. You all hate me because of my name, he said. You don't see me as a person. Just a punchline when you're mad at my dad. That's what this is. Not about a bus. About politics. No one here, Judge Judy said slowly, mentioned your father until you did. He blinked. She went on. Asterisk. Mr. Ramirez didn't put governor's son broke bus on that complaint. It said passenger damaged property, refused to cooperate. The union rep didn't call a press conference. He forwarded a still frame to the transit board. The only person who keeps dragging your father's office into this, she held his gaze, is you. Ethan's breathing picked up. This city was one tweet away from officers pounding on Mr. Ramirez's door because you equate consequences with persecution, she said. Do you understand why that might be a problem? He opened his mouth, closed it. The old responses, spin, sarcasm, arrogance, didn't quite fit anymore. Not with the stack of his own words sitting in front of him. Look, he said finally. I didn't think it through. I just wanted someone on my side. That's what therapy is for, she replied. Not yet, miss. The audience chuckled despite themselves. Judy's gaze soft by a millimeter. You are, she said. A young man who's been taught that the world is out to get you, and that your defense is to hit panic buttons until the noise drowns out accountability. He stared at her. Something raw flickering behind the defensive shell. You're not on trial for having anxiety, she continued. You're on trial for what you did with it. The words landed somewhere deeper than his rehearsed speeches had ever gone, and then the day took the sharpest turn yet, because panic, once maimed, doesn't always shrink. Sometimes it reaches for the worst possible idea. In his case, his eyes flicked from the transcripts to the bailiff, to the exit, to the cameras. He made a choice. He decided to call 911. Again. This time with Judge Judy in the same room.